Hey guys, it's Tiffany. Just a reminder, I am doing my internship with the Rhode Island Family Court. So I figured for this week I would talk a little bit about ethics. I know as social workers we are constantly being reminded of the code of ethics that we are supposed to follow to ensure that our work and treatment is done to the best of our abilities. And this week I was actually looking through an employee handbook from the courthouse that happened to just be laying around. And in looking through it, I noticed that there was also a code of ethics in the handbook. I know most people usually have like ethics and codes that they should follow, but I didn't necessarily think that there was an actual set for employees of the courthouse. In reading this, it basically just says that all state employees are governed by a statewide code of ethics that provides the public officials and employees must adhere to the highest standards of ethical conduct, respect the public trust, and the right of all persons be open, accountable, and responsive, avoid the appearance of impropriety, and not use the position for private gain or advantage. That was basically the summary of what the Code of Ethics are for. And altogether, I'm looking at it here now as I'm talking to you guys. I apologize. There's 12 Code of Ethics. I actually found them to be pretty interesting and some that somewhat coincided with social work Code of Ethics. One of those being that we are to provide impartial and even-handed treatment of all individuals. Basically, all people coming to the court for assistance are entitled to fair treatment regardless of their personal behavior or legal situation. Court employees must remember that they are often dealing with people who have a limited formal education and are unaware of court process or may be angry, confused, and even deceitful. Employees must offer those who come before the courts the same level of competence and help that is provided to those who are pleasant and appreciative. I think this is something hard to just remember when we are working with certain individuals, just as being a social worker, not even just an employee of the courthouse. At times, we're going to be dealing with people who are extremely difficult, who have a hard time following what we're telling them. Other times there may even be things like language barriers, and it's just important to remember that no matter what the situation, we should be really mindful that this person may be going through a lot, have gone through a lot, and deserve to be treated fairly. This week actually I was sitting at my desk and overheard someone at the front desk where the clerks are kind of screaming at I guess it would be a customer, and he just kept screaming at him to find someone else to talk to, and it just to me seemed very inappropriate and almost rude. Other people in the office were a little concerned about his behavior and doing that. I'm not sure if it was that there was a language barrier, that maybe the individual wasn't understanding the employee, or if it was that I apologize, if it was that the person had been rude to the employee, but it just seemed totally unprofessional and not, it just wasn't appropriate to be treating someone like that. And in mentioning that specific ethic for employees of the courthouse, I also thought of the ethic that also is with the social work code of ethics, and that being that the social worker's primary goal is to help people in need and to address social problems. Social workers elevate service to others above self-interest, draw on their knowledge, values, and skills to help people in need and to address social problems. Social workers are encouraged to volunteer some portion of their professional skills with no expectation of significant financial return. And I just think that was interesting because, again, as social workers, our primary duty is to help individuals no matter what the circumstances, whether we agree or disagree. And apparently that also goes hand in hand with employees of the courthouse, especially I think because of the matters that they're dealing with. So I just thought it was really interesting to mention that. I did notice in the employee handbook that in both letters they had the code of ethics for them to follow. Another one that was kind of interesting to me was basically to avoid any appearance of impropriety that might diminish the honor and dignity of the court. As a court's employees are expected to not only avoid improper behavior, but also behave that others might perceive as improper. And again, like I mentioned, that clerk was completely improper and unprofessional, and I think personally that that should have been handled with a higher up, because again, we don't know what that person that he was speaking to was going through or what that person had gone through. So I think it's important that everybody have a list of rules or ethics to follow and work by, so then there are no questions of how things should be carried out. And yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you all are having a great week at Intern. Bye.